Last year, TCS, the company that invented Indian software career, laid off more than 12,000 people, the first mass layoff in 57-year history. That same year, India added 5.2 million new developers on GitHub, and that's more than any country on earth. So, software startups are not dead, SaaS is not dead, and the developer is also not dead. But a very specific version of all three is dying right now, and it happens to be the version that India mass produced for 30 years. And the thing replacing it is better for you, but if only you can see what's happening clearly. In June 2025, Andre Karpathy gave a 40-minute talk called Software is Changing Again. If you write code for a living, it's probably the most important 40 minutes of this decade. Quick context if you don't know him. Karpathy ran AI at Tesla and was also the founding team at OpenAI. He's also the guy who coined vibe coding. His argument had three parts. Part 1 is software 1.0, code that humans write, C++, Java, Python. Every line that's typed by a person who understood it. And for 70 years, that's what software meant. Then came software 2.0 that arrived with deep learning. You don't write the logic, you train it here. The program isn't code anymore, it's the weights of neural network. And with every upgrade, neural networks replace C++ that humans had written. So human code literally deleted by the thing that learned to do its job. And now there is software 3.0, and the prompt is the program. The large language model is the computer, and programming language is English. Karpathy tweeted this back in January 2023. The hottest new programming language is English. For 30 years, India's pitch to the world was 5 words. Cheap engineers who speak English. Software 3.0 just deleted the first half of that sentence and turned the second half into a superpower. English stopped being the language that you just write emails in, and it became the language that you write software in. And before you file this underhype, keep in mind that Lovable, the vibe coding platform that's there, went from 0 to $100 million of annual revenue in 8 months. The fastest software company in history to that number. And Cursor crossed $1 billion. Karpathy himself vibe coded an app called MenuGen.
Example that comes to mind that is even more extreme than that is when I was building MenuGen.
You photograph a restaurant menu and it generates a picture of every dish, and by his own admission, without really reading the code. So yes, today you can build working software for yourself in an afternoon in English. But the MenuGen story has a second half. And the second half is what hints at the future of software careers in 2026. The MenuGen demo took only a few hours, but making it real took a week. There was login, payments, hosting, a domain, rate limits, and one of the best engineers alive spent a week clicking through dashboards and copying API keys, and to ship an app that he had built in an afternoon. So his own conclusion, the build stopped becoming the bottleneck, and everything around the build is now the job. He has a name for this, and from his self-driving years, it's called the March of Nines. So when your demo works 90% of the time, you've earned the first 9. But getting to 99 costs the same effort all over again. And then 99.9, every 9 the same mountain. So self-driving cars gave flawless demos in 2014, and it's 2026 today and they're still rolling city by city. Which is why when the internet says and declares 2025 as the year of agents, Karpathy publicly said no, it's the decade of agents. His literal words about today's agents is that they don't just work, can't be trusted with real tasks. And the data actually backs him. In July 2025, a research lab called METR ran a proper randomized trial. There were 16 experienced open source developers. And with AI, the developers were 19% slower. But the actual shocking part is that they believed that they were 20% faster. So there was a 39-point gap between the vibes and the actual clock. audits keep finding vulnerabilities in roughly 60% of the AI-generated code. So here's the honest analysis. AI did not make developers obsolete. It made typing obsolete. And for 70 years, the bottleneck in software was writing it. That bottleneck is gone now. And the new bottleneck is verifying it. Reading what machines produced and knowing from either experience, taste, or your battle scars when it's wrong. It's a more senior job, and every engineer on earth just got promoted to reviewer, whether they were ready or not. And markets pay for bottlenecks. And the demo is free now. So the money moves to the nines. Now take that logic and point it at SaaS, because that is where the money is. And that's where the panic started. December 2024, Satya Nadella goes on a podcast and he says most business software is essentially a CRUD database with business logic on top. Create, read, update, delete, forms and tables. And the business logic that he says is going to move to AI agents. The headlines wrote themselves within hours. Microsoft CEO says SaaS is dead. But was he right? Well, if your customer can rebuild 80% of your product in one afternoon, what exactly are you charging them 2 lakhs a year per seat for? Well, the answer lies in Klarna's story. Klarna is the Swedish fintech which went harder on this than any company alive. Late 2024, it fired Salesforce as a vendor and announced its AI was doing the work of 700 customer support agents. But 18 months later, the CEO publicly admits that they went too far. Quality cratered and customers hated it. Klarna is rehiring humans and the stock is down roughly 50% from its IPO price. So what actually dies in the age of AI is thin software. Tools where the moat was that they just existed. The form on top of a database, charging per seat, per month, forever. All those tools are dead. But what survives is the system of record, the database an entire industry already trusts, and distribution, brand, and a new deal with the customer. So stop selling seats and start selling finished work. You don't pay for the tool, you pay for the resolved ticket, you pay for the closed books, and you pay for the filed return. And for India, this means two things. First, look at Zoho. It owns its entire stack down to the data centers. It ships AI included and at roughly $40 per user. And this is against Salesforce, which is priced at $165. So when code stops being the differentiator, cost structure and distribution decides the winner. The second one, and this is the bigger one, India has over 60 million small businesses that never bought SaaS. Not because they don't have problems, because pay-per-seat and English-only software was never built for them. The Kirana store, or take the transporter with 11 trucks, a small exporter drowning in compliance paperwork. Agents that work in Hindi and Tamil and that are priced per outcome, riding on UPI rails, that is not the death of SaaS. That is software finally reaching people who were never anyone's customer. Which brings us to the question in the title. Are software startups dead? Well, the answer is not very simple, but here's what dies. Code as a moat. So your 6 months of engineering is now somebody else's afternoon prompt. So if the code is all that you have, then you have nothing. The billable hour. You cannot sell programmer time by head when programmer time is the thing that just got automated. And that's the entire witch story in one sentence. It's why fresher hiring is at a multi-year lows. So the pyramid isn't shrinking because some slowdown that will pass. It's that the bottom layer of the pyramid is now something that AI does. Now, what doesn't die? Demand for software. There's a 150-year-old economic idea called the Jevons paradox. And what it says is that when something gets 10 times cheaper, the world doesn't consume less of it. It actually consumes 100 times more. It happened with coal when, engines got efficient, and it's about to happen with software, which means more code running in the world than ever. And all of it needs to be secured, maintained, debugged, and verified. So someone has to be the adult in the loop. So what do you build instead? One is a personal software. There's a lovely essay by researcher Maggie Appleton about barefoot developers. Software as home cooking and not as a restaurant. The attendance tracker for a teacher, the status report bot for your team, or the inventory for your father's shop. Nobody funds it and there's no IPOs for it. But it doesn't matter because its real value is on day one, and that's how you build the muscle everything else needs. Two is, and this is the one that I'd bet my career on, is vertical agents that sell outcomes and not seats. So here's the frame that I want you to see. Software as a service is India's home game. For 30 years, this country ran on the largest service industry in human history. Humans delivering outcomes for a fee with SLAs, escalation metrics, and angry clients at 2 a.m. That is exactly the business model San Francisco is discovering now. The moat isn't the code. It actually never was. Moat is knowing where the work actually hurts. That knowledge is sitting inside 1 million Indian engineers who have serviced these industries for decades. It's sitting inside you. Could I be wrong? Sure on the timing. If the models improve faster than Karpathy expects, the March of 9 gets shorter, but that just changes the pace. It's not the direction. The leverage still moves to whoever owns the problems. So let's answer the last question. What does a developer even mean now? For 30 years, a developer meant a person who converts requirements into code, and somebody else owned the problem, usually in another country and usually better paid, and we did the conversion. India optimized an entire education system for the typing because the typing is what the world outsourced to us. The problem owning always stayed onshore. Software 3.0 now breaks that deal. The conversion is free now, and the problem owning just became available to anyone with English, curiosity, and taste. So, for the first time in history of this industry, that is you. And that's by default, not by visa. So here's your homework. Don't start a startup this week. This week, build one piece of software for one person within 10 feet of you. It could be your team, your family, or yourself. One real problem, one afternoon shipped, and when it breaks, fix it. And congratulations, you are now marching the nines on something that matters to a real human being. Because if Karpathy is right that this is the decade of agents, then nothing is over. The decade is the runway, and it compounds for whoever starts now. TCS cut 12,000 jobs, but India also added 5 million developers, and the same year, because software split in two. One version got employed the last generation, and the other one belongs to whoever starts building this weekend. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, subscribe for more such content.